Hey friends, Dr. Rob here. This is the conclusion of a 4-week series. It's information research that came out of Harvard Business Review. Basically what they reported on was a 10-year study. 10 years they've been studying this, 14 different researchers, to find out what makes the very best CEOs. If 1/4 of all the CEOs in the Fortune 500 got fired over that 10-year period, man, all the hundreds of millions of dollars that were wasted on that. And then some of the CEOs there, they're doing fine, but they're not spectacular. But then there were some CEOs that were just doing spectacular. What was it about those CEOs that was different from the rest? And so they looked at everything that you could imagine, and they found that there were 4 key behaviors that the best CEOs in the world had. And so we've been going through those key behaviors one at a time. This week we're on the final one, which is number 4. And do you know what it is? It is reliability. Reliability. People who showed a track record for reliability were twice as likely to get hired in the CEO position, but then listen to this, twice as likely to get hired. So they were 2-to-1 choice over the other people, but then they were 15 times likely to be more successful than the people who were ended up losing their positions. 15 times. Why? Because you got to come through. Now, we learned a couple of things about the ones who were reliable and they came through. They basically had 3 different skill sets, or 3 things that they did that I think you and I can learn from. First of all is they set realistic expectations. They set realistic expectations. The research references the CEO of Culligan, and when he came in as the new CEO there, and here were all the expectations that the board had and that the news had and where they were projecting all their income. He jumped in, looked at it, really engaged with his employees, engaged with the team, and came back and said, those aren't realistic expectations. As a matter of fact, he reduced them by 25%. Everyone's like, are you kidding? What's going on? And he said, hey, I jumped in and looked at the numbers. Here's why I'm saying that. I hope you understand. Let's look at this together. They agreed with them, although they were very disappointed. And everyone's wondering, is this doomsday for Culligan? Well, guess what? It wasn't. Why? Because once they had set realistic expectations, now he could look at the team with integrity and say, we've done our work now. Now it's time to get to work to really make sure that we're going to meet or beat those expectations. And guess what? They beat them. They beat the expectations. Now, that has to do with number 2. First thing is setting realistic expectations. Sometimes we have to dial back. We set these really lofty goals. Let's be realistic, but then we have a better chance of hitting them. Number 2, the people who were successful in this area had better planning skills. Now, very important that I use the word skills. This isn't a giftedness. It's not something they were born with, but they had learned how to do better planning. You know, we talk a lot about goals at LeaderTribe, but it's one thing to put a bunch of goals down on paper. It's another thing not just to have smart goals, but to have realistic good goals and then the execution to accomplish them. One of the best things that I learned as far as stop being distracted and really getting on to accomplishing my goals, if you want to go back a couple of vlogs ago and to see the 5-second rule, one of our most popular posts ever, and the research that came out, just the 5-second rule and how it helps to get you focused, to bring you back and get you started when you've lost some inertia. So what they did as these CEOs, one of the first thing they did, set realistic expectations. Second thing they did was with planning. And then the third thing they did was they built really strong teams. They did not worry about, hey, do I have the right synergy with this person? Do I feel like I'm comfortable with the person? They wouldn't ask those questions. You know what they do? They'd say, is this the right person for the job? And will this guy just bring it? Or will this lady give her unvarnished opinions? Can I trust her that she's going to bring her very best to the table? Whether we get along super well or not, is that the right person for the team? And they didn't mind finding really strong people who had even stronger personalities than they did. What they wanted to know is, were these people team players and could they all be in it together? As a matter of fact, the research shows 60% of first-time CEOs make their biggest mistakes in this area. They don't hire strong enough teams. Why? Well, because they're new and they don't want to be overshadowed by somebody else. They want to make sure they're getting along with people, so they're not saying, what's the very best I can do for the company in this area? Instead, they're saying, how can I meet or how can I get a team of friends or peers or people that I can really get along with. The best CEOs, they didn't worry about that. They were worried only about recruiting a really strong team. Hey, this week's free download, you do not want to miss it. You know what it is? An executive book summary of one of the greatest business books of all time. You've heard of it. Ready? Good to Great. Being able to go back and see what was it that took good companies and made them into great companies. It's these same types of principles, things that they were doing over and over again that gave them that kind of success. That's a free download for you as part of the LeaderTribe. Hey, this is Dr. Rob. I've so enjoyed this 4-week series. The opportunity to be in your life and to talk about this research and the 4 things the best CEOs do, their behaviors that every one of us can have in our everyday lives if we will commit to continuing to grow, to being lifelong learners, and to bringing our best every day. Hey, if you're not a member of the LeaderTribe, make sure to sign up for that. Go down and leave a comment. What have you felt about this series? You can do that just below or over in the Facebook group. Either way, know this. I love doing this research, learning what I can, and getting ready to share it with you in a bite-sized chunk in a way that's understandable. Thanks so much for being a part of the tribe. Let me know what are some of the areas that you hope that we explore in the future. You can just write to me at rob@leadertribe.com. I read every single email myself, and I will look forward to connecting with you again. Hey, this is Dr. Rob. Thanks for being a part of LeaderTribe.